Yay, it says I am live here. Hopefully you can see and hear me well. I am excited to be back in Mount Shasta here. The music's kind of loud, so hopefully you can hear me over that. But yeah, I'm in Mount Shasta again. I had a really great time on my vacation, and the last few days I was, as many of you know, trying to find a volunteer opportunity, and unfortunately, it didn't come. So I'm kind of bummed about that, but at the same time, I have a lot of my own things going on here in Mount Shasta. Coming up on the 15th, which is the Saturday after Valentine's Day, I am going to be hosting a little Valentine's dessert and ice cream social. So I'm really excited about that. I actually just ordered an ice cream maker, so I'm going to be able to make my own ice cream. One of the people that comes to my events, a good supporter, part of the Shasta community, is completely raw vegan. I won't touch anything that's not raw. So I want to make sure that I can make some raw ice cream. There are so many different flavors. A lot of them are banana based, but one of them was like vanilla and blueberry. One of them was salted caramel, chocolate and peanut butter. Like there's so many different things that you can do with these fundamental ingredients that even considering kidnap, rape, and murder of cows is completely ridiculous. Like, there's so many alternatives that we have these days. There's no excuse to not be vegan. So, anyways, hey, David D, how's it going? David D says back in Shasta, back to the fight, back into the war. Yeah. It is really interesting to kind of feel the different energy shifting, like when I'm away from Shasta, and then once I start coming back towards Mount Shasta, and kind of like the weight of the world that I feel when I start to come back towards Mount Shasta and all that responsibility and all that kind of stuff. So it is interesting to observe that. Obviously, well, I don't mean obviously, but a lot of people are aware that different places on Earth have different energies, different energy centers, right? And different ley lines. Um, Places that you can go to feel very spiritually uplifted, but then also places that have been specifically targeted to be the site of like slaughterhouses and other really concentrated evil that are placed at these specific points in order to amplify them in the spectrum of the world's energies, right? So it's kind of interesting to see all that kind of stuff and feel it for myself and coming back to Manchester in the different aspects. So I'm pretty excited, but I'm also excited about different things that are going on. Life is an up and down type thing. There's positives and negatives, and coming back to the war can sound negative, but at the same time, there's really exciting things going on. Like I get to build a vegan community here and like be a part of helping to change the world. So I'm super excited about that and the opportunity. So yeah, it's mixed bag. Hey, Scott Smith, how's it going? Hopefully all is well with you and yours. Steve says making your own ice cream. Fancy. Yeah, I'm super excited about that. I'll have to at least take some pictures, if not video, of that process and let you guys kind of see. I mean, realistically, the ingredients is just so easy, and you have to just put some bananas and like vanilla flavoring and cashews or something into a freezer. I don't know if you guys know what a ice cream machine is, but usually it's like a circular thing like this, and then inside of it is your metal cylinder that will hold all of your ingredients, and then between those two layers, you put ice and then rock salt, which you put in to lower the temperature of the ice, and then the little mechanical part of it will actually spin the ingredients in a circle in that little pot so that you don't have to sit there and churn it, and it won't get like it'll just cook consistently. So, anyways, super excited about that. And also, like I have already gone way overboard with planning for the ice cream social with the store bought stuff that I could find. There's Breyer's oat milk. They have a vanilla flavor. They have cookies and cream. They also have a mint chocolate chip. And then there's other flavors too, like I think it's called Coconut Bliss. They have a whole series of coconut based ice creams. There's other, like, there's just Magnum has their own almond milk covered chocolate bars. There's just so many options. It's really ridiculous. And then to go to the store and have access to that many options and then still choose the cow raven torture is ridiculous. But my original point was that I've already gone kind of overboard in this. But I also plan on making my own like raw sausage, like chocolate and maybe a strawberry or caramel to go on top. Having like this charcuterie board set up thing where people can come and like make their own sundaes, make their own desserts. I'm super excited about that. So I'll keep you guys posted as things progress on that front. Kyle, hey, how's it going? Kyle says, hey, sorry I'm late. I was getting fuel. Cool. Hopefully your truck is running well today. What are we talking about? That's a good question. Obviously, I'm going to address the comments in the live chat. But some of the things that I've been looking into recently, well, obviously the vegan war wages on always. So there's some interesting things that I maybe wanted to bring up with that, but also Trump is doing some interesting things in government, and I'd love to hear whatever other truths that you guys have been discovering lately too. So yeah. Daisy says, yeah, there's no excuse to not be vegan. Our souls are on the line. Exactly. And Daisy also says you need to take breaks from all the stress. Exactly. And anyone who knows about Mount Shasta, like it is a battlefield. So coming here is kind of like a battle. You have to fight to stay. They start to try to freeze you out. They try to freeze you out during the winter, and then they try to burn you out during the summer. So it's constantly like this attack. And then on top of that, like the chemtrails, people that have lived here for like ever have told me that recently they've noticed, or like in more recent years, they've noticed that the soil has actually changed. And what they said was that the soil has turned against us. And trying to grow your own food and be self-sustaining is becoming more and more impossible. And there's other things in California too that they're specifically trying to drive us away from this area. Uh, like a multi-thousand-dollar sprinkling system if you wanted to come here and build your house. Guess what? There's all of these, first of all, you can't even stay on the property unless you have a permit, which says that you're allowed to be here for this amount of time and only this, like, you have to pay at every single place, and they're trying to make all of the things even more pricey than they should be. And they know the importance of the root chakra, just as we do, right? We've been saying if you influence the root, whether it's a purifying influence or a corrupting influence, that's going to affect the whole rest of the tree. So that's one of the things that they're focused on here. And that's not just in Northern California. Obviously, it's all of California where there's this kind of anti-human vibes going on at every level. So, David, oh, David says Starbucks stopped charging extra for milk. Yeah. Scott also said I've been wanting to try avocado ice cream for a while. Oh, cool. I think one of the chocolate ice creams that I saved is avocado based, but it's really amazing what you can make with avocados. I make this chocolate avocado dip for especially strawberries, but any fruit. Then it can kind of be made into a pudding. It's like whatever in between there. But avocados, cocoa, cacao powder, and then agave. If you mix those three ingredients together, you want to obviously make sure that it's dark enough that it looks like chocolate and not like a green black mix of disgust. But then also the sweetness factor. So adding those three ingredients in the perfect mix, and you're going to get something that is so delicious. Like it'll be better than any cow's treat that you've ever had before. It's kind of interesting to think about those bonding factors between a mother and a child, and how milk has casomorphine. This when you break down the milk, it creates casomorphine. It encourages this bond between a mother and a child. Like they both want it back. It gives them both happy signals in the brain to connect in that manner to feed. Um, and you're still getting some of those chemicals from stealing cow's milk. So it's kind of interesting that we have, grown adults that are still addicted to breast milk and the tasomorphin, which sounds like tasomorphine, right? Morphine, think of a baby getting milk drunk, right? Like there's this chemical property in it that gives you that euphoria, that excitement, that happiness. And people are still doing that with dairy, right? You think of like, oh, a cliche depressed girl, she's gonna go and grab a tub of ice cream and just eat it all, right? Because of that happiness feeling that you get from that, and it's more addictive than crack, I think, is what scientists have said in cheese and in dairy itself. So yeah. But anyways, yeah, I'll have to let you know how the avocado ice cream tries out, or turned out, because I'm pretty sure one of the recipes, at least one of them, I saved to have that. So I'm really excited about hosting it. The last time that I really made vegan dessert was for the chess tournament that I hosted in Portland a few years ago. And I made this like nice spread with chocolate covered pretzels and homemade sugar cookies that I got to ice, and oatmeal chocolate chip, and just the whole 9 yards I went out on. So I'm really excited to do a little bit of that again. I know I have to rein myself in because I get an idea in my head and then I'm like off to the races. I want to make it the best experience that anybody has ever had, the most like convincing thing that could make them go vegan. Like a non-vegan ice cream party on steroids. All of the options that you could ever want, homemade stuff, raw stuff, all of these exciting things. So yeah, this morning I was like getting out of the shower. I'm like, hmm, is I bought a popcorn machine. I'm like, is having a popcorn machine at a ice cream social too much, or is that like a real thing? Because I don't know. Like I don't know. I just want it to be like the best. I don't know. So sue me, right? Right. Anyways, the David D says again. I already read this, but Starbucks stopped charging for extra oat milk, which is so cool. Obviously, government subsidizes dairy and the meat industry and all these other factors, so those products are going to be a lot cheaper than oat milk. And well, actually, I don't really know because oat milk is really inexpensive to produce. So I have to look in the statistics, but government isn't subsidizing the oat milk industry, right? They have a lot invested in the animal agriculture industry. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it doesn't come down to money. It comes down to the fact that you agree to the slavery system. When you enslave animals, you're saying, okay, this is the circle of life where the bigger species, the more intellectual, the big brother, whatever, gets to dominate the other one, and it doesn't matter if the little sibling is raped, kidnapped, murdered, hurt in any way in the process. All that matters is me at the top of the food chain. So when you agree to that stuff, you ultimately get what you deserve, which is your butt handed to you, and you get to be a 9 to 5 slave working with your children being corrupted by pedophiles and inverts, and the system that we're in. You've agreed to this. This is the circle of life that you have agreed to. And it's a nightmare. It's a hell on earth for all of us. So the only way out is veganism. I was talking, well, earlier today, I was having a conversation with someone on Facebook, and they basically said that I am just as guilty as a meat eater because I pay taxes. Which, first of all, the only taxes that I actually pay is when I go to the grocery store and they like charge me tax for any of these things that are not something you can object to, right? Like I'm not going to sit there and argue with the cashier over paying a sales tax or any of this stuff. Like it isn't even their battle to fight. They would say no tax. This is upset. Um, so I do the bare minimum as far as paying taxes. But their point was that since tax money gets redistributed into the animal agriculture industry, that I'm just as guilty as a meat eater. That doesn't make any logical sense. So, because you do something deliberate, you're deliberately enslaving, raping cows, killing them. You're saying that I'm on the same level as you because I'm forced to pay sales tax at the grocery store. it's like this whole world is run by non-vegans, and like I kind of see it as this minefield of lasers, right? And not in vegans, we're trying to like avoid every laser possible, right? Like we don't want to have anything to do with animal harm and causing any issues to any other these innocent souls, right? And so we're like ducking and dodging and weaving all of these lasers and stuff. Meanwhile, the non-vegan is walking through as big as they can, hitting every single laser possible. And then they're like, if you, I saw you hit one laser back there in your acrobatic, in your acrobatic feat. Since you hit that one laser, since you drive a car with rubber tires or whatever excuse they want to make, right? Since you do this one imperfect thing, first of all, shut up. You have no room to talk. And second of all, that justifies you doing all of this other evil. Vegans are really just trying to do the best that we can in a world that's run by souls that have tried to make it impossible. Literally, go vegan and see how hard it is. And I'm not saying it's hard at all. Like, I'm just saying, like, you have to check your soap. You need to check your cleaning products. You need to check every single ingredients list and every single thing before you buy it. And that's what makes it hard. I don't think that it's hard at all personally. The hardest part about being being vegan to me is dealing with non-vegans and souls that would generally consider themselves as really good, upstanding people. Maybe they are so great when it comes to treating their fellow humans. They just they're just not on that level with the animals yet. And even worse is when they troll and they're like bacon and they just really, they start to diminish your faith in humanity. And that's kind of like the hardest part about being vegan for me is still trying to love my own fellow species when my own fellow species has become the monsters that hurt the animals that I love. Like, I would take a bullet for a cow. I love cows. And so if you want to come against the cow, like, that's coming against me and something that I love at a fundamental level. And so there's obviously going to be problems with that. There's going to be some just issues, you know. So, anyways, we're really jamming out here today. Daisy says that frozen out during the winter, burn out during the summer. Can't grow food anymore. Trying to force humans away from the root. Exactly. And then all the people that are left are the ones that are super rich, right? Which is usually the people that are willing to compromise their morals for money or the inverse, right? When I think of all of like the rich people that I know, unfortunately, they're in industries that are hurting humanity, whether they're doctors or people in the pharmaceutical industry or, teachers like professors or all of these people, CEOs. So much of it is not pro-human, and that's why, they're elevated and all what they're doing. So, it says that Trump promised hundreds of billions to fund American AI after getting shown up by China's DeepSeek. Well, on that note, it's kind of funny this imaginary war that's going on between Trump and China because Trump has financial ties to China. Like they're all in bed together. It's just like them pretending to squabble just because so many Americans have been programmed and polarized against the Chinese, against the Muslims, against these specific different groups that we are supposed to see as threats. So we see our fellow humans as threats and not the actual threat that is, which is all of the governments are working together against us. And like, China's government goes and whispers to all of their citizens one thing, and our government whispers to us one thing, and then we're all of a sudden we hate these people for no reason, right? But anyway, David says similar ability, but at 10% of the processing speed. Yeah, there's a lot in AI that needs to be revamped, including the core programming needing to be set to be pro-human. Because right now, you can look up on YouTube, most dangerous things that AI has said, and like talk about wiping out humanity and other things like that. So that's just the tip of the iceberg. If AI is not programmed in the right way, we're going to see a Terminator style, reality. So, Dignity says Trump is also starting to trying to start a race war and ban DEI department proposed to deport immigrants and try to punish a voting age. Yeah, exactly. The race war I was just talking about this morning about them canceling Black History Month, which I don't agree with any of the I think it's racist in the first place that we only have one race supported to begin with, and then it's the shortest month, whatever. So the whole premise of having a race month, if all the races don't have a month, then there's some inequality issues going on with that alone. But then there's just been a lot to go with the George Floyd stuff, and a lot to go into that race war trying to bait um, to justify each other instead of these ones that are ruling over us. So it'll be interesting to see how that unfolds, and hopefully people will. It's hard because if they are so callous and desensitized and lack so much compassion for their fellow animals, um, it makes sense if you're eating this war violent whatever for every mealtime, there shouldn't be any surprise when you take that violence towards your fellow humans, right? Like there's just one step away and then you cause a calamity, right? Toilet paper shortage on top of the lack of compassion, right? And now we got people that are being killed over toilet paper, over their race, over any stupid thing that is brought to their attention, right? To whatever the mainstream media tell them to be angry about that week, they're going to be mad at, and you know. A lot of it does. If you're eating violence for every meal, how can you expect to have peace in your mind, in your body, in the world around you? It just that doesn't make any sense. So, Davey says quite a few cafes are using oat milk as standard, not cow's milk. We are winning. Oh, that's cool. I don't really know what the percentage is, but oat milk is so like thick and creamy, and it's just so good in the coffee. Like I'm not really a big coffee person myself. I would definitely prefer tea, but oat milk is definitely the way to go. David also says there's no need to pay taxes. They print money and use taxes to enslave and control us. Exactly, and I think I read earlier that Trump was like trying to go away with some sort of this taxes or something. They're really just being set up as this for the hero people. If you watch the Lego movie, this character goes from like this I think it's president business to like the leader of the free world or something. Like they totally foreshadowed this whole thing, but the point is that this character is being set up to be like the Manchurian candidate, the hero of the people, so that everyone votes for them, and then like they said in their inauguration or like in their pre-presidential speeches, they were a snake before you knew that they were a snake before you let them in, and you still let them in, and then you were surprised when they bit you. Like that's on you. That's your own stupidity. You go outside and you find a snake. You bring the snake in the house, and then the snake bites you. What did you expect, right? Obviously, as a vegan, I have a different perspective, but on a different level, I understand why Trump kept saying that speech over and over again, right? Um, so yeah, just like they put 9/11 in front of us so many times, right? All of these different predictive programming type things that go to tell us what they're going to happen, so that you know, how are you going to be mad at me? I told you what I was going to do before I did it, and you didn't listen. So that's your fault. So, anyways, Dave D says they say by 2030 we will own nothing and be happy. Yep. South African boy saying, how's it going? I'm going to USA. Cool. When are you going to, when are you coming this way? Do you know when you, or where you're going to be going as well? That's cool. David says that trolls that say bacon as a defense have no idea. Eating pigs is the closest to eating humans. Exactly. And such a shallow argument, right? Like, that would be the equivalent of being like, rape, right? Like, any pleasure that you could get from that sexual situation doesn't justify the harm and the evil that you're doing. Just like eating bacon doesn't justify pigs in a gestation crate. All of these, the rape, the murder, the kidnap, separating mothers from their children, it doesn't justify it. Bacon doesn't justify it. So thankfully, I never liked bacon, and so it was kind of not a thing for me. Even from a young age, the smell made my stomach hurt so bad, like it was repulsive. And then I found out that it's, like David says, it's the closest thing that you can eat to eating human flesh, basically. And it's kind of like, maybe there's like a subconscious soul like repulsion for this things. And I have the same thing with eggs too. Like if you put it in a donut or a cake and you hide it, that's fine. But if you put an egg in front of me, I'm gonna be like, that's like a chicken. Period. We shouldn't be eating these things. So yeah. Stevie says exactly. If you have no compassion for the animals, you're very unlikely to have any compassion for other races of human. Yeah, and not just races too, but I've seen people say, if you take away my meat, I'm gonna eat vegans. So there's this like aggressive survivalist type predator mentality that they have. But at the same time, I'm not worried because I know that their predatory nature is only geared towards the helpless little baby animals out in the field that they can handle. They're not big enough bullies to actually handle someone that will fight back, someone that's willing to fight, kill, and die over this. They have to go out of their way and dehorn the cow so that they don't get, rammed with horns or all of these things that they do to make the animals even more helpless so they don't get hurt. Like, I just really don't. I really struggle with having compassion for, especially like farmers and people that are directly involved in this industry. Because when you're sitting there, you know, plucking beaks off of the birds and snipping the tails off of pigs, and you have to hear their squealing, like you're doing something wrong, and there's just no forgiving that. So, hard. Hey Dave, how's it going? Dave says Lego Movie had it right. I knew it. Yeah, it's interesting. Not just the Lego Movie, but what's other the Simpsons movie or movie? That was really dumb. The Simpsons. One of the episodes foreshadowed Trump as president as well. So um, there's pretty clear evidence that this whole Trump is a wild card idea is not true. And there's like just so many red flags, whether they're bailed out of debt by a Rothschild, Trump Tower was funded by Soros. There's a third temple coin of Jerusalem, which is a Zionist run state, right? There's a lot of anti-Semitism restriction. Oh, am I going to get banned? Oh no. I didn't even know. I didn't even think about that. Am I going to get banned from YouTube now because I'm saying that, anti-Semitism stuff? Um, Trump is kissing the same wall of these fake Jews, these Satanists, that every other president has been doing, right? They signed with the Noahide laws. They're involved in all these things. So there's just so many red flags that just point to the fact that this person is not someone that we can trust. So, anyways, Tiffany says you're definitely being shadow banned today. I know. I didn't really set up ahead of time, anyways, so I didn't really plan on being on very long today. So I probably will cut this short in just a few minutes. But I always appreciate getting to connect with you guys and being able to speak. I guess I don't know. It's nice to have this platform. So. Ladies also says, I used to add bacon to everything. Oh, and now every burger, every sandwich. Now it nauseates me. It's kind of interesting too, because like when you first go vegan, you might be like, oh, that still smells good, but a few years down the road, and you're like, oh my god, that's the most nauseating smell that I have ever like. How do I ever find that smell attractive or any of these things? And so it's kind of interesting how so many different aspects of your life change too when that light bulb finally clicks on, and then it's like that's not even food to me. So I don't know. Interesting, but yeah, I'm glad to hear that it nauseates you. It's me too. Kyle says that maybe your VPN location corresponds to the amount of viewers. Oh, okay. So I basically have to go on vacation again, and then my viewership will skyrocket. But then when I come to Shasta, I'm shadow banned. So basically, I'll pack my bags tonight, I guess. I don't know. David says The Simpsons foreshadowed Trump as well as highlighting that we are all under God's permanent dome. Yeah, there's so much truth in plain sight in The Simpsons. I never was into The Simpsons. I've only seen, the other videos and stuff that people have pulled really. I never, as soon as I was old enough to not watch cartoons, I didn't want to watch cartoons. Like, I was trying to have, like, more mature content. And then this whole perverted cartoons, like, I don't know. It's just I don't like perverted things either. So cartoons to me, they should be like for kids. If I want to enjoy a cartoon, I want to go watch a Disney movie about a princess. Like, don't get me wrong, I know Disney's owned by pedophiles. I know they have their own thing. I'm saying it should be an innocently focused, like, to what people think Disney is of cartoons, not sexualized and just like dumbed down stupidity. I don't know. So, anyways, that was my rant about The Simpsons. Back to The Simpsons. So we're under God's dome. Um, there's some really great. I'm not sure if it might be by like ODD TV or one of these flat earthers that actually shows a compilation of videos of so many of the times that flat Earth is shown in videos, in TV, in movies, in all of these different things. Like they're constantly putting it in our face. So just imagine like an older sibling who maybe is not so happy about your existence, and then they keep playing a practical joke on you, and they keep putting the evidence right in your face, and just laughing at how dumb you are that you don't get it. Like that's ultimately what's going on because every species that's under the dome, we only have one heavenly father. We're all siblings, no matter what physical suit that we're wearing. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much going on. The species wars that are older siblings, the Jin, these other species that feel, miffed about getting pushed to the side. Toy Story 3 or whatever, where the old toys up on the shelf, the Wheezy penguin or whatever. Um, that's kind of what I think of when I think about these species. It's like they're becoming less and less relevant. They're not dragons, even. How freaking cool are dragons? But they're not center stage, are they? They're not the main focus. They've been at least somewhat pushed to the side for humans to be the main focus of the event. So not just dragons, but other species. There's a little bit of, maybe a bitter taste in some of their mouth that's happened to them, especially the more impressive that they think they are compared to humans. And for the Jinn, think of like genius, genie, um, magically gifted, lives forever, basically. All of these are really powerful things. And then look at the modern human who doesn't even live 100 years, who basically does nothing impressive at all, doesn't even awaken to their magical abilities, just goes to work, does whatever the system tells them, and then they die. And so you have the Jinn that are really impressive that this doesn't happen to, judging themselves to this other character, and that creates this interesting dynamic that that's the story that we're in right now. So, cool. Uh, anyways, I'll probably get off of here relatively soon, but David D says that eating animals and the smell of it became more nauseating over the years. Exactly. Simpsons, Family Guy, etc. They always have an incompetent father figure. Exactly, and it's like then you look out in the real world and see how that's kind of influenced the development of a lot of the people that watch those shows. Um, and then it kind of, I don't know, it's really cool because my parents growing up like were really strict. I wasn't even allowed to watch Rugrats because of like Angelica being a brat, or I don't even know. The first time that I ever watched Rugrats was in college, and I was like, oh my god, Chucky's so cute. Like I've never gone back to revisit it, but it was really cute. But then I'm like, oh, I understand why my parents didn't want me to be influenced by this bratty behavior, right? But then you see, I don't know. It's just kind of interesting to observe how these different things factor into play. It'd be really interesting to see, what the watchers see and how human development is affected by all of these different things. So, I don't know. David says ODD did a great compilation of Flat Earth evidence. Okay, cool. Are they the ones that did the Flat Earth in mainstream media thing, or just? So I know they have good Flat Earth videos, like the True World documentary is a good intro video for Flat Earthers and some other stuff like that. But I don't know if they're the ones that did the other thing. Uh, David D also says that jealous older sibling is Satanist demons. They hate humans. Yeah. And trying to be understanding and like see from other species perspectives can be a little bit challenging sometimes, but I can understand that, especially I don't know as a vegan. I it's hard for me to feel like the most related to my own species because of the fact that I look out and so many of my own species is completely against what I'm for. So I like relate to a cow kind of more than humans in a lot of ways, just because it's just different. So yeah, anyways, back to what I was saying, like to try to understand from like another species perspective and read like the story from the Quran of when God revealed this creation of humanity to Satan, and they were basically like, "Oh, we're not bowing to that." Like I can understand from their perspective why they wouldn't want to bow because they would like, would you bow? That was probably not a good example, so I won't do that. I won't compare humans to any farm animals or anything of the sort because I mean, I think there's divinity in all of us, even animals. There's divine nature in all of us. We all have this, everything with a soul, there's divinity in that soul, no matter how far from grace that soul has fallen, no matter how dark in loss that soul has gotten, no matter what species that soul is in this time around. Next time around, you might be a cow, you might be a pig, you might be one of those animals that's in a situation that your dinner is in right now. And honestly, you shouldn't expect anything less. So, um, you know, I don't know what I was getting about that, but the species war or whatever, we all have this revive spark. Anyways, Steven says they're much more impressive that humans and most of them dream of. Oh, they are, okay, sorry. Regarding the Jinn, they are much more impressive than humans, and most of them dream of Nibiru, Earth without humans. Yeah, that's interesting to get into because what was channeled to me before a few years back, I have mentioned before that Nibiru, like you said, was first about humans. This time where it was more of a fiery, if the Jinn are like the number one species on Earth, even like reptiles, dragons and stuff, you can have a very fiery like surface without all this green and whatever, because they don't need the same environment that we do. And so it's kind of interesting to even think about the different terraforming that maybe God used for different species, whether they were giants, right? Like giants wouldn't even right now have any trees to exist in them. So everything was bigger back then. So what did everything look like? What did it look like when maybe dragons were the ones that were, center stage? What it was like with Jim. So yeah, it's kind of when you have a fiery species, thinking about it being a little bit more fiery down here. Yeah, kind of just fun stuff to think about too. History is a complete lie. We were much more advanced before. Tartarian Empire, Atlantis, New, etc. Exactly. And not just history, but religion and science. So much of what we have been taught as humanity is a lie. The great web of deception that spans into nearly every facet of our existence, everything that you could possibly even think of and question and believe. There's, polar opposite beliefs about that thing. And groups of people that are promoting those things and evidence that backs those things up and just like it just yeah interesting to see especially as a truther how like I don't know coming from a biblical background how different things kind of fit into that and how things have been twisted. um, I don't know why I was getting off into that but it's maybe just a little bit distracting. Kyle says the Treasure Planet was an awesome animated movie. Interesting. I have not had that, or I've not seen that. But what I was going to say is that I recently went to a place I think was called Vegan Planet. If you guys follow me on Insta, oh, it's called Planet Vegan. If you follow me on Happy Cow, you'll get to see all of the really amazing, like delicious foods that I get to eat on my travels. Happy Cow is so cool because it'll tell you if there's a restaurant that just offers vegan options or if it's fully vegan, you can leave reviews and all the stuff. So it's a really great community for vegans. But anyways, Kyle said Treasure Planet, so I was like, oh yeah, I just want to go for and I had a really delicious burger with mozzarella sticks. I don't know if you can see my picture there. Planet Vegan, 4 days ago. Yum. I'm definitely a burger and fry kind of gal, so going vegan, it's been really easy for me because usually I can get a vegan burger anywhere. Ultimately, I know that that's not the diet that God intended for me. I know that I would be better off in so many different ways if I just ate only fruit, and that's my goal. But it's a lot easier said than done, especially when there's just so many different factors. Food addiction being really high up on the list, convenience and all the other things. So I know those are excuses, but they still exist. Okay. Duty says you prefer cows to humans. Oh, they're so cute. Understandable. I definitely prefer ducks to humans. Oh yeah. By the way, oh wait, I was gonna say, well, I'm not actually. But thank you. I was gonna say I'm using the computer that you got me, but I'm actually not. But thank you for the computer that you got me for Christmas, and also for the cow duck. I gotta take a picture of that and upload it because that is like a really hilarious thing. So, yeah, it's a stuffed animal that's like this big, and it's a duck, but it's like a cow. Like it has cow spots on it, like these little horns. It's just super cute. I don't know. Anyways, Kyle, also, what was Treasure Planet about? I'm not sure what that one is. Dave says trespassing. I trespass onto private lakes pretty much every day to feed the ducks closest to my door. Aww. I'm sure that they really love that. I know that people say not to feed the ducks bread and stuff too, but I'm sure that they appreciate anything that they're given over like having to eat bugs and going without. So, from the birds to you, from me, thank you. Something like that. I appreciate that because I love birds myself. So only fruit is healthiest, but requires will. Exactly. So I plan to kind of move into a fruit and fasting period, especially like Shasta tangerine season is coming up. Like I've been waiting all year for this. This is my time to shine. Yeah, I'm gonna just I'm gonna have to just go and buy a whole big box of them and like just eat them for a whole month and see what happens. So yeah, I'll have to let you know when that officially kicks off. It says mid-February, so I'm not really sure when they'll be actually available for me to eat. But yeah. David says I'm almost out of time, gotta work. Yeah, I was getting ready to wrap up on here as well. This music is really loud and distracting to me today, and I got some other things that I wanted to do, including playing some music. I've been on vacation with a lot of things, including music. But next Friday, I'm going to start karaoke up again at the sanctuary over yonder. You guys have no idea what that means, but it is over that way. Um, so I'm pretty excited about that. It's been really cool to come out of my shell more as a musician. Ultimately, I want to make my own music and all that kind of stuff. But I think that'll come with time. And in the meantime, I appreciate like the confidence and being able to just be in front of people and perform and stuff like that. So if you guys haven't seen, you probably haven't seen some of my karaoke stuff. Mount Shasta Karaoke on Instagram before I get off of here. If you want to see some of me singing and the stuff that we got going on over there, definitely check that out. So, sweet. Hello, Ukraine forever. How's it going? Hopefully you're doing good. I'm about to head out here. That was weird. I'm about to head out of here. But I'm really glad to connect with you guys, and I hope to catch up with you guys next week. Same time, same place. May God and the God bless you.